Good morning, everybody. This is Keena reeSHARD, and I'm back again to give you video number 2 of the Power of series. Last week, I did a video on the power of coaching and how no matter how good a skill set you have, or no matter how successful you may have been, 9 times out of 10, you needed a coach in order to accomplish that goal. I even brought up analogies of LeBron James and Michael Jordan. People talk about them being the best of all time, or debate about who is the best of all time. But I, brought up the analogy that either one needed a coach and a team to help them succeed. This week I want to talk about the power of personal development. One of the reasons I started recording on my channel was to not that I'm discriminating against men or whatever, but I wanted to empower other women, other professional women who may be looking to increase their streams of income without having to have more than one job. I've been a single parent. I've been someone who has worked 2 and I won't say 3 jobs, but it felt like 3 a lot of times. And it was some sacrifices made in order to generate the income that I needed. And a lot of times my relationships with my family and associates strongly suffered. So as I have gotten in a position now that I'm learning how to increase my own personal income without having to have an extra job, I wanted to share some tips that I may be learning on how to do the same thing. I became involved with a company called My Econ, and it was really I wasn't really looking to develop the business as per se. I was really just want to work on my credit, and I wanted to use a program that might give me tips that I didn't have on my own, and it opened up a whole new world of financial literacy for myself. And I realized that I had not educated my daughter. I wasn't educated properly. I had not educated my daughter properly, and now that she's a young adult, I definitely wanted to stop the cycle and turn it in a different direction to lay the foundation for generational wealth. To say that this is a true testament of personal development is what kind of inspired this video. When you choose to personally develop yourself, one of the first things that it's going to do is to generate a different degree of confidence. The fact that I'm even before you all is a true. I take a deep breath. I'm really shy. People who know me personally may think differently, but to be on a video and presenting myself to total strangers like this, it's really a leap of faith for me, because I would have never done it on my own had I not been coached into developing myself within this industry. But the more I learn about financial literacy, the more I want to share it. The more I know that there are mothers out there or that have not been able to instill this in their children, because you don't know what you don't know until you're in a situation many times. And so the financial literacy piece is something like that I experienced with my own daughter. And so I wanted to share that with other mothers. And I know I'm ranting right now, but I'm just trying to organize my thought on the fact that despite my fear or despite my shyness, or despite my cautiousness, or whatever trepidation I may be having, the lack of foundation for generational wealth is more of a danger than my shyness is. It's worth me overcoming that to try to share this with someone else. So if watching this video helps to inspire you to take a different look at your finances at home in a way that you really want to solidify your own finances, and also instill that responsibility over your money with your children, so that this will carry on over with the other members of your family in a way that it can carry on and create generational wealth, that would be worth you listening to this video. Personally developing yourself with financial literacy, or just any personal development, is going to cause you to do an assessment of yourself. You know, if you want to start a business, or if you want to learn a skill, or whatever the case may be, then you're going to do an assessment on what do you already. You're going to kind of give yourself a report card. You know, if you have a, if the business gives you a checklist on what you would need to have, you're going to be able to look and say what you already do, or what you already know, what you already have, what tools you already have, what resources you already have, what network you already possess, what coaches or mentors you may already have around you, what capital you may already have, or what ability to obtain capital you may already have. It also gives you an opportunity to see what areas you may need more improvement in. And so before you start on your new endeavor, it may be a course or a webinar or some event going on that you will be able to attend, or it may be someone you will be able to go and visit, or get a tutor of some sort to help to instill, put you in a position to attain what you want to attain. I remember when I was younger, there was a homeowners buying webinar that was being offered, and you know, you got 4 different, you know, there were so many weeks that you attend that seminar or that class, and then at the end you receive a certificate. It didn't necessarily guarantee that you would be able to buy a house, but you would be able to take it to your potential lender and show that you had done some homework in preparing, you know, so to speak, before you even came to ask them for the loan. And it strongly increased your chances of success with home ownership by taking the course. And I thought that was very neat. And so the internet and social media has kind of recreated that scenario for many of us, because we may not have a course nearby, but we can use the internet and social media as a similar experience for us. Personal development also requires that if you're really trying to better yourself, you're going to become more accountable to yourself. You're going to take more ownership for what is or is not happening in your life. Before you, in times past when you may have been in a situation and you didn't necessarily get the results that you wanted, I know a lot of times I was guilty of pointing the finger at the other person, or the situation, or this didn't work out because of this, or this didn't work out because of that. And even though that may have been the case, now that I'm personally developing myself, I can say if I don't have the wealth that I would like to have had at this stage in my life, regardless of the failures, regardless of the mistakes, regardless of the circumstances that occurred that were beyond my control, okay, that happened. But what needs to happen now to put me where I need to be? And so I think that that's a good, being honest with yourself about what level of commitment you're willing to make towards bettering the situation or yourself, regardless of fault or regardless of circumstance, is a strong component of true, proper personal development. When you develop yourself, you're going to develop new skills. And that's the beauty of it, is that you're going to be more equipped with what you need to be successful. It may not always be comfortable. This has been a very learning how to succeed in the online industry. It's something I've always wanted to do for at least 10 years. For the past 10 years, I've been curious about it. Now that I finally have the coach in place to show me how to do it, it's still requiring a lot of mental muscle, so to speak, but it's going to be worth it, because now I have, in just a short period of time, I'm able to see, okay, all right, I saw that before, but now I understand it better. And a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, just imagine just sticking with it, how much your skill will develop. think about the first time, whatever profession you may be in, an accountant or a lawyer or whatever, trying that first case, first 10 cases or whatever, or the first 10 clients or whatever the case may be, first 10 patients. There was a lot of learning that went into those things. You kind of learned the things that you did well, but you also may have realized some kinks, mistakes that you made. You went through orientation, you went through class, you went through school, but there may have been some mistakes that you made that you can learn from. Even now, patients or tell me things that it may apply to their situation, but it's something I can put in my toolbox for the next time I encounter a patient that may be going through the same thing. You develop skills that you can fall back on to help expedite, you achieving whatever goal you're after. Knowledge. That's something no one can ever take away. Even if you decide that, I thought I wanted to do this, but that's not really what I want to do. Whatever knowledge you attain to before you made that decision, it's still going to be there. And that's something that would lead me to my next point, which is value. When you choose to develop yourself, you become more valuable, not only to yourself, but to others, because you develop a different understanding of things. You develop a different appreciation of the work that goes into certain things. Cooking is something I don't do often, but when I do, I like doing it. I like to get feedback from whoever I'm serving to see, did they like this or did they not like this? But, the more I do cook, the more I can appreciate the cooks, the chefs, the bakers, because it's a lot of time. And to have this stuff taste good, it requires fresher seasonings and some things for it to taste better. You gotta, use better products, or you have to use so many seasonings for it to have the, the impact that you want with the people that you're serving. It's an appreciation. You have to have certain utensils. You have to allow certain time for whatever the course is going to be. And so I have an appreciation for those who do this day in and day out to groups of people, because it's when I just cook for 3 or 4, it's it can be quite an undertaking for me, because I don't do it all the time. Another thing personal development brings about is it expands your network. I mean, some of you may already know a lot of people. I would like to think that I have come across a lot of people in my career. I was a home health hospice nurse for 21 years, and I'm still nursing, but in every job that I've had or the homes that I've gone in or whatever, you run across people. But when you choose to develop yourself, you're going to expand your network even more so, because you're going to, by default, you're going to change. You may have to change who is mentoring you, who is coaching you, who is going to be around you. You may have to start attending different being around different groups of people to develop the skill set that you're looking for. For instance, if you wanted to go to school online, even in the online world, you're going to, you have classmates or that teacher or what have you. If there's a certain industry that you want to expand in your business online, there are different forums, there are different groups that you can become members of. And I used to think, that's a lot of things. I've already got Facebook friends. Why would I need to join these Facebook groups in order to, but if online marketing or online business is what I'm seeking to develop, by being in certain select groups, it has allowed me to have a network of people who understand what I'm trying to do and who may have a different, because of their experiences, because of their skill set, because of what they may have learned through their mentors and their coaches. They have tips and ideas or suggestions that they can bring to the table that helps to speed up the learning curve. that helps you be able to develop or achieve your goal a lot sooner than you might would have otherwise just trying to study things on your own. Mentoring and coaching is important. You may have to have more than one coach because your coach may be specialized in certain things, but there may be something that you're looking to do. For instance, the coach that I have is skilled in online marketing, and I'm confident that she's going to teach me what I need to know about online marketing. But what there may be something about the idea I have or the product that I want to market or something like that that may be totally different than what she's dealing in, and I may have to have a coach just for that component. And coaching is important. Many of my Facebook friends know that I recently, last summer, I was able to start learning how to swim as an adult. I had almost drowned as a child. I was petrified with swimming ever since then. When my daughter started swimming, I took her to swimming lessons and everything, and I thought I would learn how to swim at the same time, but I didn't. Part of it was because of my fear. Part of it may have been, I think, could have been different if I had had a different coach. Fast forward years later, a different coach was suggested to me, and it was a totally different experience. I still cannot swim to the level that I would like to, but I am letting go of the side of the pool. I did go through some basic instruction to the different strokes. I think I could survive in a hotel, a pool at a hotel. And because of that coach, I do now have less fear of swimming. And even though I still need more lessons, I'm happy with the development that I did have because I chose was accepted by the right coaching. So coaching is important. Mentors, or coaching, coaches, depending on the situation, may be assigned to you because some of us, those of you who are athletes, you didn't get a chance to choose your coach because you were playing at a certain school or what have you. Even with teams that you're selected to, you don't choose the coach. But in your online marketing or in whatever skill you're trying to develop, you may get a chance to choose the coach. You get a chance to choose that, and you want somebody who's going to be a good fit with what you're trying to do. Same thing with mentors. You want to choose mentors who have been through what you're trying to do. As a nurse, I remember not getting hired for positions that involve substance abuse because they wanted not necessarily nurses who were using or had abused substances themselves, but they wanted nurses who had already had prior experience with some of the manipulation and the behavior problems that would present with a substance user. So they didn't want to use me as a new nurse with no substance abuse experience on that particular floor, or burn units, or ICU or surgical nurses. They need a certain type of skill. So if you're going to have somebody to mentor you in an area that you're seeking to go to, then you need to turn to the person that has experience in that area themselves. I never forget, I was in church years ago, and the preacher was fussing about how this was the early stages of talk show, and talk shows and before reality shows even, and people tended to look up to Oprah Winfrey, and he was saying, people get on these shows and they tell all their business and they follow all this advice and they come home and tell their husbands, Oprah said, and Oprah said this, and Oprah said this about relationships. And he said, well, I have a question. Is Oprah married? And I got tickled, but I follow his, I know he may have been just kind of frustrated with something that may have been going on in his own household, but it did cause us to pause and say, well, he may have a point. And I think we need to look at that with who we choose to mentor us or advise us in certain situations, if they are not in that position themselves, are they the best person to advise you on what you need to do? And so that would be something to consider in personal development with choosing your mentors. Um, I touched upon value before, but um, I wanted to touch upon it again. When you increase your own value through your personal development, you increase your ability to influence others' ability to increase their value. I mentioned that I have only been, improving my financial literacy for the past 2 months, but it's been so much fun because not only am I improving my own financial situation, I am being able to see people that I'm partnering with transform themselves. It's so exciting when we can say, your credit score changed or income is changing, what investments we're going to, be making, or businesses that are going to be started. Just it just blows my mind, the things, it's just fun learning about how to improve your finances. It's a fun thing. And so the more that you learn and the more that you share, my coach has a motto: learn, do, teach. Learn it, do it yourself, teach someone else. And so that is the concept that we are modeling, and it has been fun being able to teach it and see them actually applying it, and the lives that are being transformed with the information that we're using. Personal development changes your mindset. A lot of things I used to not, I may have said, oh, it's no need of doing that, it's not important. Uh, it'll be all right. All you have to do, you may not think that certain things are important, but when you take the time to personally develop yourself, you become coachable, and you listen and you apply what is being told, and you begin to appreciate the journey that the path that you, oh, okay, now I see why we had to go this way. And you just develop a different belief about your ability to do things, which is kind of tied into the confidence, but you also start elevating your mind to the point that you embrace change. Change is inevitable anyway, but a lot of times people are resistant to change, or they fear change, they avoid change, avoid embracing the change. And it only delays a lot of progress that you could have been making in achieving your goals. When you change your mindset and you believe that you can do what you set out to do, when you believe that you follow a certain pattern, that it will lead to a positive result. When you have a certain mindset that this is something that will generate success for me, then you develop a different discipline about applying yourself. You find a way. You eliminate the objections. You eliminate the excuses. When you used to be, I don't have time to do it. I don't have time to do things. But when you have your mindset that you're going to improve your health, you're going to improve your finances, you're going to make time for, relationships or what have you, you break out the planner and you write it in, you pencil it in, and there's you figure out, well, I may not have time to watch it, at home because I have to work, but guess what? I turned my car into a university because now I can go and pull up my phone and put my earbuds in and listen to my coach on my way to work, and I can pause that video and listen to the rest of it on my way home. While I'm getting ready for work, I can listen to another video. While I'm doing chores, I can put that tablet, in a certain place and listen to videos. I know they like for us to be front and center and taking notes and everything, but if I can't do that, I'm gonna do what I can. Danny Johnson is a motivational speaker and business, multi-million-dollar earner, and that's one of the things that she used to drive home in a lot of her webinars was prosper where you plant it. When you properly developing yourself personally, you're going to find a way. You're going to develop the discipline to incorporate. You're going to make yourself as much of a priority as you make bills and as you make jobs, as you make your children, as you make other things. You're going to realize that you're important enough to make time for yourself. And it's unapologetically not a bad thing to take care of yourself. And then you would be able to better take care of others, better serve others, you know. When you are personally developing yourself, you're going to develop new habits. My healthcare provider has not been happy with my my health habits. I've been overweight for a long time, but I, just kind of brushed it to the side because my blood pressure was not always a problem. I didn't have, diabetes. Wasn't getting sick. I, like I say, was working 2 jobs and going with, just going on along. I would be tired, but that was about it. But as I've gotten older, the heart problems or the high blood pressure and the pre-diabetes and those things have become challenges of mine. And if I don't change my eating habits, my exercise habits, I'm going to be it's going to be a problem that could get worse before it gets better, if it gets better. So definitely I have to change certain habits. And the same thing applies in business. If you really want to have a business online or offline, you're going to have certain types of habits. You're going to have to open your store every day. You're going to have to show up for yourself every day. The same way you would for a business. We don't expect to go to Walmart and have the doors closed unless it's a holiday. And even then we upset. We don't expect to go to the service station and it's only open once a week, twice a week here, once a week there. There are certain principles you're going to have to apply to yourself every day. And so you're going to have to be available every day for your customer base or who you're partnering with. I watched a video this earlier today from a guy named Dan Locke. I had never seen him before, talking about the 3 best habits of rich people. Now my endeavors used to not be getting rich, but I don't want to seem like I'm obsessed with money or whatever, but I am concerned, or should I say I am looking forward to developing financial security, because at some point I do want to retire from my job or what have you. And I do want to have money put back for a rainy day. I do want to have money to occasionally do nice things or what have you. And he said, he was talking about the 3 best habits of rich people. And the first thing was, he said, you count your money. He said that a lot of people, they only concerned with their money when they file their taxes, wait on a return. And that's not the only time, you get your check, you spend your money, you really don't budget your money. You really don't have an idea of where your money is once those bills are spent, and then you find yourself, a lot of times in financial crises because you're not counting your money. You should have a strong command of where your money is and what it is doing. The second thing is, rich people pay themselves first. Now, the richest man in Babylon, and used to, a lot of people work from the concept of pay yourself, 10%, and that used to be in the Old Testament, where they would tithe in a tenth or what have you. Now, the goal is, do a minimum of a tenth if that's the best that you can do, but then the goal should be to pay yourself. As you do better, pay better to yourself. And first, and then for those of us who give, we should give to God first, then pay ourselves, then look at the other things that you may need to do with your money. So that's the second habit that he talked about that we may need to develop in our everyday habits. The third thing is, find ways to increase your earnings. Which brings me back to, it was just confirmation for me to the beginning of this video, was find ways to increase your earnings, not only with your income, but also with what you leverage. You should be leveraging the people that you have around you, the resources that you have available to yourself, whether, with how you market and everything, and that will help you reach your goal a lot faster. I mean, I think it's safer to say that, one person doing everything is not going to be as efficient or as quick as when you have 3 or 4 people there to do the same task with the same amount of work. So you can break things down into sections and delegate, and I'll do this while you do this, and it gets done a lot faster. Um, and a lot of times a lot better because you're leveraging. So nobody gets burnt out, number one, and it's a more of a team effort. It's a stronger foundation of what you're trying to accomplish, and I love that concept, leveraging. In business, there I'm not seeking to have any employees. I want to partner myself with other people who are on the same mindset or the same path or desire the same goal that I'm on, which is to increase the income without increasing the jobs and setting ourselves up for a stronger retirement plan than we have right now. Um, I know this has been a longer video than I normally do, but I think it's an important one because there's someone out there who, I talked about the financial literacy aspect of it, but then there's also somebody out there who may have skills. Some of y'all have some skills that should be incorporated into a business. I know some people who bake who may not be, really working in their passion. I see some of my Facebook or Instagram friends who they post up every day, and they, I see 4 businesses in one photo because you have the hair, you have the makeup, you have the nails, you have fashion going on. And so some of you are smart enough with that you could, possibly have services, consulting services, or, the legal aspect or what have you. There's so much talent out there amongst the Facebook community that I'm a part of, and I would love to see it expand with there's some of you out there who are just as shy as me about using this platform that we have through YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or what have you. And I would love it if you would overcome your fear and personally develop yourself to push through your potential push your potential into prosperity in 2019 and the years to come. So let me wrap this up for tonight and this morning rather, and until next time, y'all take care.